I know that looks crazy, but Facebook, Zuckerberg, and that whole clan makes it so it's muted when someone comes on. As you can tell, I'm Alex Mondosian. I'm going to hide that because it kind of gets in the way, and you are in for a treat. I have no idea where you're hanging out from. I have no idea how you found us, but it's no accident you're here. Stay right here because in the next 17 minutes, you are in for the treat because here's a pop quiz. What's the fastest, easiest, most economical, let me repeat, economical way to dramatically boost the growth of your business, accelerate the growth of your business, get a bunch of leads all at the same time, and it takes 1 hour? Is there any such thing as a 1 hour launch? Well, there is. It was created 2 years ago at an event with over 3,500 people called Traffic and Conversion that 3 friends of mine, Ryan Dice, Roland Frazier, and Perry Belcher put on. I'm name dropping so that we can ping them on Facebook. But it's called the 1 hour launch, and I want to introduce it to you because it is a business secret. And before we begin, I want you to type in the biggest, number one, the galactical reason why that you haven't made speaking from the stage your number one growth strategy. Mm-hmm. Speaking from stage. Now, I want to ask you, because we have to put you in a few buckets. This is thanks to a dear friend of mine, Ryan Levesque, and my other friend who's on. I call him the stage whisperer. He's going to be talking about which of these are most adaptable for you. So here's situation number one. You ready? And I want you to type in whether you're watching the replay or not. It doesn't matter. This is Alex. So if you don't like this energy, you can leave now because it's not going to get any lower. It's going to keep going up, up, and up. It's early in the morning when we're recording this live. I just came from the gym, and I came for one reason, my friend. And my friend, I'll call him a friend as long as I'm breathing. Probably my kids will call them their friends as well. Now, here's situation number one. Well, I'm just starting out, and I never used speaking as a growth strategy. Okay? If that's you, type in number one. Now, you know if it's you or not. Here's number two. I have a business, but I'm not using speaking events as a growth strategy. Now, if that's you, type in number two. Now, forget the excuses, forget the roadblocks, forget I don't know how to get on stage, or I don't like to speak, or I have a face for radio, or whatever other excuse you want to come up with, all right? We're not going to blame it on your parents, your friends, or even your little inner voice, right? That's like a shovel to the forehead when you have a chance to grow your business. Yes, I have props. Next, I'm just trying to entertain my friend who I'll bring on in just a moment. Number three is I'm currently using speaking to grow my business. Okay, if that's you, then type in number three. And then finally, number four, and this is the bucket I'm in. I consider myself to be a professional speaker, and I want to be more effective. That's the bucket I'm in. Those are 4 different buckets, and I'm going to go through them very, very quickly because I want to know where you fall so I know how to talk to you, because at the end of this event, I'm going to give you a free training thanks to my friend who I'll introduce in just a moment. That's the stage whisperer. And you have access to a little mini mastermind that's going on for 2 weeks where you get access to me, and maybe he'll do some cameo visits on one of my private Facebook groups so that you can have your questions answered. We're in the middle of the 1 hour launch. So number one, I'm just starting out and you don't use speaking as a strategy. Number two, you have a business, but you're not using speaking events as a growth strategy. Number three, you're currently using speaking to grow your business and you're in denial because it's not as effective as it could be. And then number four, I consider myself to be a professional speaker and want to be more effective. Now, if it's none of the above, then you're welcome to leave now because you're wasting your time. This is all about making speaking a part of accelerating your business growth. You don't need a digital funnel. You don't need an opt-in page. You don't need an exit page on your websites. You don't even need a website, okay? Right now, I want to know if you're ready to take the plunge because I've teased you enough, because there are 5 different stages I want you to consider. My friend, who I'm going to bring on and introduce in just a moment, he is going to tell you about all 5. I only use one of them, only one, and I make over $1 million a year from that one Could I make 5 with all 5? Well, I'm going to find out because I'm going to a $10,000 intensive. I'm kind of sad about it because it was $8,000, and then I did some coaching with him. I said, you got to raise the price. So he raised the price. So now it's 20% more. All right. So let me bring on Mr. Pete Vargas. Pete, where are you hanging out from, buddy?
Colorado Springs, man. Colorado, dude. I like so engaged. I'm like so fired up. And you know, I've done 60 of these this week. And I'm like fired up by that engagement, Alex. Thank you. And by the way, it's 25% more, 25% more, 8K to 10K.
Okay, well, I'll take 25%, man. I mean, thanks for like kind of rubbing that in. Well, I want you to lean in, and please listen to Pete because I'm going to put him on the full screen right here and right now. So, Pete, quick, in 30 seconds or less. I know it's a 30-minute origin story, but how did you get involved with speaking, and then what are the 5 stages?
Yeah, 30 seconds or less. My life was changed by a speaker. A guy came into my hometown. My dad heard him, and it's what prompted my dad to say, I'm sorry for the abusive dad that I was growing up to you. My mind thought, what just freaking happened in that 1 hour that the last decade of counseling, church, and his siblings preaching at him didn't do? 1 freaking hour did it on that stage. We took that guy from $50,000 to $7 million, with stages being the #1 customer acquisition channel for him. His daughter was the first girl killed at Columbine. He wanted to change the educational system. We helped him do that. We booked 25,000 stages as a result over the last 15 years. What's important about that, and Alex has never heard me say, I didn't do it. I taught and trained 30 of my sales reps to do it. So it's not a system about a personality. It's a system about a process that actually works and a method that works. There's 5 stages that will make you money, that become a portfolio for you. There's the paid keynote where you get paid. There's the free stage where you don't get paid and you don't get to make an offer. Most people avoid that, but that's where they need to get started. There's the speak to sell stage where you make an offer and you split the revenues with the meeting planner. Remember meeting planner. Meeting planner is the person who controls the stage, and I'll tell you what the #1 thing they want in order for you to be on their stage. There's the sponsored stage where you to pay to be on the stage, and in return, you get to keep all of your revenues with the offer that you make. And then 5th and finally, there is your own stages that you create.
All right, so I'm going to be the angel's advocate because I don't like the devil, right? And let's say I walk around with a shovel and it keeps hitting my forehead. It's the shovel of reality. And Pete, I don't have a keynote speech. I don't even know what to say. What do you say to that person?
Yeah, I say that they're on here because they know they got something in them, and it's just about being coached to let somebody get it out of them. You have a keynote inside of you, and here's the thing. I just talked to a good friend of ours yesterday, and Alex knows him, Ping. Ping said, I designed one keynote, and he reinforced that my belief is you just need one signature talk, one incredible talk. He said, one talk took me from 0 to 8 figures. Well, one talk has taken us from 0 to 7 figures. You just need some coaching for someone to be able to pull that one talk out of you. But everybody has it in them, Alex. They just don't know how to get the clarity around it and the pulling out of it. But it's the reason, the things that they want to do and they're most passionate about, we're going to take those and design one incredible signature talk.
Okay, just so you're crystal clear as you're watching, whether it's the replay or live, and thank you for your answers, whether you're in category 1, 2, 3, or 4, nothing is being sold right now. A training is not being sold. Okay, you're not ready for that training. We will train you for that training to see if you're an ideal fit. And in 8 minutes, I'm going to give you a link so that you can get a pre-training so you can assess and evaluate whether this is right for you. And I'm also going to give you a mastermind link for the next 2 weeks. And I'm going to do everything in my power, if it's right for you, to inspire and influence you to come on board. So don't think I'm just going to sit back, just all casual. I'm going to push, because Pete is in the middle of his 1 hour launch. Now let's go to another objection, excuse, roadblock, and then we'll talk about the 1 hour launch. Okay, Pete, I already speak. And I'm a great platform seller, and I already make, 6 figures a year, and I go from event to event to event. Okay, what's in it for me?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. A couple of things. Number one, I guarantee you what we've learned from the people of the caliber of Alex that we've gotten the opportunity to work with. Number one, I guarantee you, you're leaving a lot of revenues on the table. We were just with a big personality. He goes, oh my God. He sat through the training, and Alex would know him, big personality. He said, I've left hundreds of millions of dollars on the table. John Ruhlin said, oh my God, I've left tens of millions of dollars on the table. Frank Shamrock, 5-time UFC champion, I've left millions of dollars on the table. And this powerhouse, I just lost her train of thought, but a powerhouse lady, it was at one of our workshops, Karen, said, I've left hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. Number one, not understanding this methodology and system, you're leaving money on the table. We've taken people from 0 to 5, 0 to 6, 0 to 7, 0 to 8 figures. And hopefully this year, we're hoping for a 0 to 9 here in the next couple of years, just using stages. That's mistake number one. Mistake number two is you're not as diversified as you want to be or as you should be. I have all 5 of those revenue generating stages in my business, all 5. It's the perfect portfolio. I don't want you to try to go do all 5 overnight. I want you to try to adapt the next one and the next one and the next one, but you're relying on one. And it's a lot like the stock market of just relying on one stock. You got all of your eggs in one basket, and I want them to diversify, Alex.
Well, I know, Pete, you've done this over 25,000 times in your career. Now you're finally teaching it. You've passed the testing. We were sitting near the lobby of the Traffic and Conversion Summit that 3 friends of ours puts on. Again, I'm going to name drop so we can ping them as Roland Frazier, Perry Belcher, and Ryan Dice. And could you have 3 more different personalities than that? But they know how to put over 5,000 people into an event. And you use your own formulas to get speakers who are well-known, who couldn't previously get on stage. In a moment, I'm going to ask you who those are, because just because I know Ryan, Roland, and Perry doesn't mean I can get on stage. I can't. It's not a matter of friendship or having the inside scoop. It has to have a perfect and direct appeal to the person coordinating that stage. So in a moment, I want to hear some case studies from, they used to be annoying, from past students of mine who are now my teachers. That's what I'm good at, right? My mom doesn't know what I do still, but I'm good at having students who are now my teachers. You already have mentioned one of them. So we'll go to that in just a moment. But I want you to know, while you're watching right now, okay, I'm going to give you a link. You're going to see a link inside the chat. And whether you're watching the replay or not, I know the replay is not as exciting, but it is, because you still see the chat. And so when I give you that link, all right, if you're not patient, you're probably not patient. I'm going to give it to you now, but don't go there, okay? I want you to keep watching because I want to get every excuse out of the way. Marketingonline.com/Pete1. Marketingonline.com/Pete1. And you will see this. You will see this. Now, when you go there, you will see stage to scale. Now, that's kind of like biz talk, so I don't like that as much. I like the one that I created, the 1-hour launch, right? And I didn't say that. Pete said that. That's what we did as we're talking. And I said, dude, I will support you. You got to launch this thing, because the people who don't have a list and can't get involved with joint ventures, they feel intimidated. The people who are just starting out, they feel intimidated. The people who don't think they can make 5 figures in their first 3 months feel intimidated. Forget 9 figures, 8 figures, 7 figures, 6 figures.
5 figures.
Even 5 figures. How about 4 figures? How about if you made from one talk $9,000 in an hour? Is that cool? Or how about 5,000? Okay, that's good for me. Now, it's called the 1-hour launch because in just less than an hour, you can scoop up more names than you ever dreamed possible without buying Facebook book ads, without buying Google AdWords, without having to bribe people and reciprocate. It's the fastest way to grow your business. And so when you land here, you're not done. Okay. What Pete's going to ask, and this is step 1 of 2, is to access his free training. And yes, at the end of the cycle, it'll take a couple weeks to see if you are pre-qualified, because if you're not, it's no use for you to go through it unless you're committed. You got to give time to this. Okay. It's simple, but it's not easy. So you got to dedicate some time. You're probably juggling a lot of balls. We don't want over-motivated underachievers. You got it? All right. And I don't mean to offend you, but here's the deal. just please, no bright, shiny object, people. This is a serious business. So which of the following best describes you? Well, you kind of saw this in the beginning, so that you're seeing it for the second time. I'm just starting out. I have a business, but I'm not using speaking as a growth strategy. I'm currently using speaking to grow my business, right? And I consider myself a professional speaker, and I want to be more effective. Okay. That's where I fall in. Now, if it's none of the above, then don't click continue. You have just outed yourself, and congratulations, you're decisive, and I respect you and honor you. When you go to the next page, it's step 2 of 2. There's only 2 steps. You've heard of 3. This is only 2, right? 33% less, since Pete is a mathematician these days, from 20 to 25%. So I think you know your first name. I think you know. Don't put a bogus first name. Okay. No. Put your first name. Put your primary email address, not the one that goes to spam, and then click on continue. Now, when you do that, please check your spam folder or junk folder. If you use Gmail, please make it so that you're seeing the email. That's the first thing you want to do, because you're going to get the email instantly. Now, I can't be any more clear than that. Are we crystal clear? All right. Yes. Are we crystal clear? Head, heart, and hands. It takes 3 things. So your head and heart are in it. Now let's see what happens with your hands. Give us some examples of people who you've got on stage who couldn't get on stage before, even though they're great speakers.
Yeah. So Alex, I think it's really important to say something, and I'll lead into that. I'll be quick with this, but I want you to know Alex kind of skimmed over it because that's who he is. He shows up in such a powerful way. We sat at that lunch table, and I told him about the speaker that impacted my life. And I told him about these things that I have done for 13 years. He looked me in the eyes and he said, "You realize you have the 1-hour launch?" And I go a little deeper. And he said, "Pete, people are working their tails off for 9 months, 12 months, 15 months." He said, to get 60 minutes of content consumed online sometimes takes people a year online to do. Or they work their tail off for one big promotion for 9 to 12 months. But you just showed them how to do it in 1 hour, the power of 1 hour. And Alex, here's what I want to tell you. One of the biggest mistakes I made out of the gates is I tried the blog, and I tried a product launch, and I tried all these things out of the gates. No community, no following, no leads, no anything. And it failed and it busted. I tried a lot of complex things. And here's leading into that question. Here's what I want you to know. I said, why don't you go back to your foundations, Pete? I went and got on one stage, 40 people. This is more relevant for most of the people. 40 people, $12,000 later. I'm like, why did I try all the complicated stuff? Why didn't I go do the thing that I was most genius in? I didn't go do it because of all the bright, shiny object online marketers that were telling me to do all of this other stuff. But yet the most predictable #1 growth strategy for you and me is that. So some people that come to mind, Chandler Bolt, great speaker, young kid, 24 years old. He had built his business online. He was getting so busy and noisy. It's hard to stand out anymore because of how busy online is. And he said, I want to see if this thing works. He went in front of 27 chiropractors, not a big stage, small stage. 9 of them became clients. $18,000 later, he said, oh my gosh, what if I were in front of 270 chiropractors or 2,700 chiropractors? And it takes time to get there. And all of a sudden he said, I'm all in. I'm fully committed to this. He wasn't able to really get on stages. He used our system to get on stages. This year, 7-figure customer acquisition channel this year. We've been able to put people like Ryan Levesque on stages, big, powerful stages, traffic and conversion. We put Stu McLaren on stages. We've been able to put, Hal Elrod on a stage recently. We put JJ Virgin on a stage. Some of these people can get on stages, but a lot of them that I'm talking about fall in the bucket 4, like Alex, where it's like, wow, I didn't know I could be a whole lot more effective. And so those are some of the people, Alex, that we've worked really closely with, and thousands of others. Like, we've worked with thousands of people.
Well, if it's crossing your mind, hey, I'm new, I'm not the JJ Virgin, I'm not the Ryan Levesque, I'm not the Jack Canfield. You're going to say this in about 2 weeks. I'm not the Pete Vargas, right? If you're saying that, guess what? Stages love new talent. Okay, not that they don't get sick of the old talent, but if the same faces show up again and again, then the audience says, okay, well, I've already seen this before. But if you are an up and coming champ and star, They love new talent. So you have an unfair advantage over me. You have an unfair advantage over Pete, because I don't go back to some of the stages because I've already been there. I have to wait a few years. You can sneak in there in between. And if you come into our mastermind, I may recommend you if you demonstrate that you are committed. Passion is overrated, my friend. Okay, passion doesn't create commitment. I know passionate people who are angry. I know passionate people who are upset. I know passionate people who are a failure. I know passionate people who are borderline suicidal, but I don't know one committed person who are any of those things. Passion doesn't create commitment. It's commitment that produces passion. So if you're committed, then go through the process. It's not just an opt-in where you're coming in. You are being vetted as you come in so that you're spoken to properly. If you're a beginner, you can't be spoken to the same way as if you're an elite veteran. That's why there's a 4-question survey. Actually 5. If it's none of the above, then it's not for you. Now, before I show you the mastermind link, here is the link again to go and start the training, and then check your spam or junk folder. If you have Gmail, check everything to make sure you get it, and whitelist, make it so that it comes into your list. And then here's what happens. Check this out. Check this out. For those of you who are going to do this, then you can end up going here. Now, this is at a private Facebook group. My production manager, who's inside this Facebook Live, you just can't see him, Leo Fernandez, he's in Sao Paulo, right? And he's a speaker. He's going to be on stage today. So he's going through this whole process. So I don't have to train him, right? It's kind of like, you know, the cobbler's kids have holes in their shoes. So if you go to the 1-hour launch mastermind, this is a little graphic, and I'll show you how to get here. We're just starting out. We're just starting out. This literally came up within 24 hours at the time of the recording, but that's Alex and that's Pete. And if you come in here, I will engage with you for the next 2 weeks. Why? Because that's how long the launch is going. Here's how to find it, and we will allow you in. This is a private mastermind. So if you're a problem child, you're out. We'll kick you out, right? Thanks to Mark Zuckerberg. marketingonline.com/Pete Mastermind. Now, this is a surprise to Pete. He didn't know this, but man, he means so much to me, and this is his first launch, so I really want to go all in with him. It's marketingonline.com/Pete Mastermind, and Leo Fernandez, you see, just put the link in. Now, Pete, it says Pete Vargas III. Who was number 2? And I know who number 1 was.
Yeah, number 2 was my dad, or number 2 was my dad. Number 1 was Grandpa, obviously. And Alex, I just kind of, as we're winding up, a couple of things I just want to say that reinforce what you just said, because I don't want people to think, oh, all these big names or all these big people, because one of the best compliments that I've gotten over the last 2 weeks, this system was birthed from someone that the world didn't know, who had a message in him and he couldn't get it out there. The system was created for the best kept secrets, and making them no longer best kept secrets, because I don't want you to be the best kept secret going to the graveyard, because then you don't impact the world with your message. The system was created for that person, Alex. A meeting planner is somebody who controls the stage, and one meeting planner who controls 100 stages. I wished I had paper like Alex. 100 stages told me this. He said, I would rather find the diamond in the rough and create the next Gary Vee than me finding and bringing Gary Vee. Meeting planners love to find that new talent, that new person. And this system was created. Yes, we can help Alex, and yes, we can help big names, but the system was created for the everyday person who's trying to get their message out to the world. Pete Jr., my dad, called me 10 years ago, 12 years ago. He said, come home, you're having a little brother. I'm like, I'm having a little brother? Are you kidding me? I don't have kids yet. And I went home to meet my little brother. I couldn't believe it. My dad was different with this one, Alex. And as I was leaving to come back to Colorado, and my dad was walking me out to the car, he looked me in the eyes and he said, I want you to know you'll always be my little boy, but I feel like JT is my second chance to get to do things right, since I didn't do things right with you. And the only thing that I could think as I got in the car with my wife is, had my dad not heard a message on a stage, it wouldn't have happened. Had I not heard Ryan Dice on a stage, I would have never bought all of his digital marketing products. Had I not heard my financial advisor on a stage, my coach, I could go on and on and on. I invest with people that I connect with through stages, and that's what I want everybody in this group to be on, is stages.
All right. Well, Pete's about to go to another Facebook Live because there are other people like me, some much, much bigger, more reach, more exposure than I do. So he's got to run. But I will tell you this. I don't want you to be like a speaker. I don't want you to be like other speakers. Okay. That's not unity. That's not a community. I want you to be of our speaking community.
Yeah.
Okay. Of is much more important than like. I really want you to have a sense of belonging and know that we can put our arms around your shoulders and say, okay, if you want this, we can give it to you. Pete, you got the final word. Go for it. And I know you got to move on.
No, man, I'm just so grateful, man. I'm looking forward to these next couple of weeks and helping. What I heard Tom Ziegler say something a couple of weeks ago to me that meant a lot, and I think it's a great way to close it. He said, my dad, Zig Ziglar, people would come up to him and say, Dad, they would say, Zig, I'm going to be the next Zig Ziglar. And Zig Ziglar would say, no, you're not going to be the next Zig Ziglar. I don't want you to be a Zig Ziglar, because if you try to be a Zig Ziglar, you're going to show up inauthentic and not real. And he said, I want you to be the next you. And I'm excited because the next 2 weeks, we're going to help people make them the next them, not the next Alex, not the next Pete, the next them, so they can get their message out there in a one-to-many format and really have an impact and attract customers so much faster than anything else. Alex has used this for 25 years. I don't know how long. I've used it for 15 years. It's a system that works, and we're excited to share it with you.
Well, it's the system that Cicero used. It's a system that Demosthenes used. It's a system that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. used, Mahatma Gandhi. Speaking from the stage or from the floor is the fastest, easiest, and most economical way to massively grow your reach, your exposure, and visibility. I will end on this note. This is an acorn, and I picked it up this morning from an oak tree that probably weighs about 40,000 pounds. I don't know how many kilos that is if you're outside the US, but this acorn 100 years ago dropped, because that tree's over 100 years old. It's in the back of my office. You can't see it. I got bamboo over here, but this is a giant oak tree. Okay, here's the difference. You're an acorn right now. I am. I'm about to go to a $10,000 intensive, so I get it in a few days. You're going to get it in 2 weeks. You are this, as am I. It's not going to take you 100 years. It won't even take you a year. How long will it take you? That depends on how committed you are. Remember, passion doesn't produce commitment. Commitment produces passion. So we're going to end like we started. So this Facebook Live is over. You know what to do. We're ending in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we always start where we began. This is all about introducing the 1 hour launch, the business growth secret. That's for you. It's like a commencement ceremony in high school or college. It's not the end. It's the beginning. Pete, I'll see you. Good luck with your launch. And if you need to bend an ear late at night, you know who to call, because I'm right there with you. I know what you're going through.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, Alex. Thanks for all the support and love, man.
All right. See you all. Okay. Make your